Satellite. How y'all doing? How y'all doing on time? Jiggity jig. I'm just a fish. I'm a monkey. Hate my life.
Dave,
Gonna get some of that love muffin. Gonna get some of our cornbread. Alright, welcome to Talking Over Albums, episode 21. This is the redo of the precursor. We're gonna flip a coin for either Cracked Rear View, Hootie and the BJs, or Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band. Because I have nothing to say about Hootie and the Blowfish.
Darius Rucker.
Introduce yourself, Will, to our... We have an average of 3 listeners per episode, so... Or maybe sometimes 5.
My name's Will. Unlike Brett, I did love the last U2 album. So, that says a lot. I haven't listened to a lot of Dave recently, so I can't really compare this one to the last album, but back in high school, there was a time where my parents wouldn't let me listen to Dave Matthews Band. And so Brett came over and we were listening to, what was the name of the DVD that...
Listener supported.
Listener supported.
Yes.
And my sister told on me for us watching Dave Matthews.
Wow.
Rebellious music back in the late 90s.
Yeah, those smooth jazz stylings of the Dave Matthews Band singing about freedom and trying to live life to its full.
I say the Peeping Tom, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, he does also sing about coming on women. Oh, there's this great video.
But he does it in a sweet way, though.
Right.
It's like...
I'm gonna come on you. There's this great video. This guy did this parody. It's called Every Dave Matthews Band Song Ever. I'll show it to you later. He hits all like the cliches. He's like, I'm dead on the reeds. I'm dead on the... There's sweet juice in my boner for you.
I know.
So
Dave Matthews is the ultimate white people's music. Even though, like, their band actually had, black members, but...
where is this album?
And the concert, it was pretty Caucasian.
So yeah, I started off with the Dave Matthews Band. The first thing I ever heard, it's like rare when I remember a moment in music. I remember hearing Stay, Wasting Time on B&Q in like 1998. I was in my room and it came on. I'd never heard anything like it. And it was just, the heavens opened up.
What album was that on?
Before These Crowded Streets.
Oh, that was a great album.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Don't Drink the Water.
Yeah, that's still a legitimately great one that I still put on occasionally. And then...
You had like every song memorized on your guitar, Dave Matthews.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, there's like a shame, there's aura of shame around the Dave Matthews Band. Like, what was really weird in, like, Deadpool 2, it's this really lame joke where, like, way after the fact, there's, like, this Dave Matthews Band dig. Like, in Deadpool 2, where the joke is so irrelevant that it, like, circles back on itself and almost is, like, funny again. Because it was funny when Futurama did it, when they had that joke, Fry is, like, scooting away on this, like, space tricycle, and somebody goes, oh yeah, and the Dave Matthews Band doesn't rock. Like, that was funny, but that was, like, 2001.
Is this supposed to be coming through? The music's supposed to be coming through?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
You don't know how this podcast works. This is just the intro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they do get kind of made... It's like them and Coldplay are, like, the old white person that, like...
I get it's like a super yuppie, trust fund kid crowd mixed with some stoners or wannabe stoners. Like the jam band people hate the Dave Matthews Band, and like artsy music people hate the Dave Matthews Band, but they're fun. They're fun, and they put out like, there is still that aura of shame where you have to wear your veil when you...
I think I got into them like in the late 90s, but when I was in high school, the 2 albums that came out were Every Day, which they kind of got into a little bit. They brought in the electric guitar, wasn't quite as bluesy, and then Busted Stuff. So I think those were the 2 albums that I listened to the most from Dave Matthews. By far, Busted Stuff was the album I listened to the most.
It's kind of weird. I think I listened to Every Day more. Like, all said and done, I ended up listening to that more, because I didn't like Busted Stuff at all, because I remember the first album that came out while I was a big fan was Every Day.
But didn't Busted Stuff they kind of went back to their older style? I mean...
Yeah, but for me it was the comparison of Lily White Sessions, which at the time I think it was on par or better than Before These Crowded Streets, but it's like such a dark and depressing album, and I understand why they didn't release it. But so like then going to Busted Stuff, where you have kind of these half-assed versions of those songs, to me it was just a huge disappointment.
Didn't they get like more introspective and Busted Stuff?
Yeah, because like Everyday was basically a pop album.
Well, did something happen in Dave's life that like caused him to?
I mean, if you go back and listen to Lily White Sessions, it is one of the most morose sounding albums where you can just tell, like, the songwriting is really great and the rest of the band is doing their job, but you can tell he is miserable. So you could tell he just needed to make a pop album, basically. So, like, Everyday is fine. It has some good songs. I really like So Right.
Angel.
But
it seems like this compared to Busted Stuff compared to Everyday, like Everyday seems like it's kind of abstract out there, and Busted Stuff is much more like I'm going through some crisis that I'm trying to like write through. And that's why I liked it. Like I think the lyrics of Busted Stuff I liked, where Everyday was kind of like the music was good, but it was like there wasn't like a whole lot of depth as far as.
No, you could tell. You could tell he was just trying to cheer him. It was an album of him trying to cheer himself up. So I'll give it a reevaluation here. But my impression of it is it was kind of a half-assed apology to the fans. Like, sorry, you didn't like electric guitar, even though there was a lot of electric guitar on Crash.
But didn't you hated Everyday when it first came out, right?
I don't know.
I think you did. Like I think it was like.
Yeah, because
maybe it was me. It was like they were like.
No, everybody did.
It's like, how dare they?
Because it was overtly got away from the jazz influence.
Like, just the fact they brought in electric guitar was like...
Because it was really heavy on electric guitar and it's very popular. I mean, that's the song, I Did It. I did it. Remember, what's his name? He was like, wrote the genius parody, I Farted. What was his
Weird
name?
Al?
No, the kid from First Assembly. Like Alex, was that his name? Alex. I just remember him coming and being like, hey guys, I wrote a parody. It's called... I farted. Alright, here we go. Here's Busted Stuff, which has a strange album cover. The only person you can really see on the cover is Stefan, who looks really old these days, which is strange. And Carter still looks exactly the same. Boyd is in prison.
Soon to be.
Here's Busted Stuff. Yeah, like my main gripe with this is the production is not good. Like Steve Lillywhite knew how to make the band sound really pristine and like gel together. I think he did everything up until Everyday, and then that was like Glenn Ballard or something.
Who produced this album?
I don't know. Might have been like Mark Batson or something. But his guitar on this, it almost sounds out of tune. I can't quite put my finger on it, but
what's that wah wah sound? Is it the bass?
No, I think it's just an overdubbed electric. I don't think Tim Reynolds was on this. That's another thing. There's like so much to talk about because I've kind of ignored the band for 10 years. I mean, I still have a lot of opinions that I've formed. Yeah, this is a great song, but still my brain can't like separate from what I think is the vastly superior version, which is the Lily White Sessions.
Was this song on the Lily White Sessions?
Yeah. So Everything But Where Are You Going? Yeah, Everything But You Never Know and Where Are You Going? And they left out like two of the best songs he ever wrote, which are JTR and Monkey Man.
John the Revelator.
Yeah. I have no idea why that never ended up on an album. It's like easily one of the best songs he's ever done.
I feel like this whole album though has like a much more religious undertone than most of his albums. I mean, definitely Bartender, but even...
because just a couple days... Yeah, it was like last week I listened through the Lily White Sessions for the first time in a long time, and I'm like, every song is like a cry for help almost. Yeah. Just going through these...
It made it a therapy session. That's maybe, or like this album. It's been like a therapy session, you know?
Yeah, like Grace Is Gone, Bartender, Raven, which is about trying to escape, the older generation's influence.
Gray Street for sure.
Gray Street, Digging a Ditch, which is when you throw yourself into a hole.
And then Grace Is Gone, yeah. That's pour me one more drink.
Grace Is Gone, Captain, which I don't think is lyrically that dark, but the tone of the song is really just depressing. Next is Gray Street.
Great. When did he die?
2009.
But yeah, I think the violin and sax are kind of in Bus's stuff. They're not as prominent as like.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't just with this newest tour. I don't know if you've paid any attention, but I don't know why he just didn't ditch a lot of the old songs, because even if he wasn't specifically sitting there writing these songs with Boyd and Leroy in mind, they still made a lot of these songs what they are. I think Carter he's the backbone. Without him, the band would not exist. Like half these songs, if it was any other drummer, they would be mediocre to garbage, I think. Like, they fill in the gaps really well, and you can just tell when those pieces are missing.
Yeah, I can't imagine this song, like, any of this without violin and saxophone.
Yeah, go find something from this year. Look up Bartender 2018. It's really, really awkward.
Why they couldn't just get like another violin or saxophone player?
I don't know. Like, I understand it from the band's point of view. If you don't want to feel like, oh, you've been replaced, but you need to replace him. Sorry.
I mean,
it's kind of integral. Or do a little string section. Like, they're not broke by any means. They're still selling out tours for the most part. So, like, just hire a string section. Like, that's less offensive than bringing in, like, another black violin player. I don't know.
I mean, with Boyd, like, with his scandal, I think they could, like, afford to replace him, right? Like, Leroy might be a little offensive, but, I mean, if it's, sexual offense, then...
I don't know. I don't have any comment. All I've heard about it was just Dave saying, hope he comes back. And then reading some message board comments about, like, he's a child rapist.
He fell to the Me Too movement.
No comment. Victim of the Me Too movement. But yeah, this is a great... Gray Street, I think, like, every band has sort of their anthem. Some bands are lucky enough to have a few. And I think with Dave Matthews Band, of course, Ants Marching is just... It's ubiquitous with the group, is their first hit. Then, like, Gray Street, Two-Step... Those are kind of the ones that everyone just always wants to hear.
This came out in, 2002 or 2003? 2003. Actually, you know what? I remember when this album came out. Like, I don't know if you were there or not, but it was... I remember Haley and Molly and everyone came over to the house, and I just remember that was the day that this album came out, and I was... Back when you used to buy CDs.
Yeah, I think I pre-ordered it. I remember it arriving... at my house, and then being quickly disappointed for some reason.
What's this song about?
It's a woman committing suicide, like an abused housewife, I think.
This is just like everything turns gray in life.
Well, this is pretty much the anthem of that whole Lily White Sessions thing of there's no point.
This is like the message of emo music, but it like in a
hopeful emo. Have you listened to anything after this?
I think I listened to Stand Up, and that was pretty much
garbage. That is their worst album.
I think that kind of took me off the Dave train.
Yeah, I don't know what my last straw was. I think it was just a gradual disinterest, but Stand Up didn't help. Like, that was such a bad album, like really bad.
I'm trying to think. When did we go to their show? Like, I remember me, you, and Olenchek went.
2003. My cousin Tom was there.
Oh, yeah. So this was really like right after Busted Stuff.
I still haven't listened to all of Come Tomorrow, but most of those songs... It's the first time he's done it in a while where most of the songs are songs that have already been around through the live show. He hasn't done that in a while. Usually he just... Like, the last two albums were just all new material, I think, for the most part. Yeah, so I don't think there was really a point where I completely lost interest. It's just that I became obsessed with the Beatles. But here's Where Are You Going, which is the single from it.
This was like this kind of seemed like it should have been on every day.
So I do feel bad because I've ignored them for 10 years, mostly just because of music hipsterism. I'm like, I should be listening to more relevant or hip music than the Dave Matthews Band.
It's like it's almost like they went down the road of the old 80s bands. Maybe just in my mind that like they're still putting out new music, but I'm like, they ended in 2003. Yeah. But that's probably not... I mean, it's not completely accurate. I don't know what they're...
Well, they were one of those rare bands up until Every Day where the studio albums were very good, as was the live show. Mm. as opposed to other kind of jam bands. I know people don't want to put them in that category, but whatever, they jam. So generally, you have like Fish will just nominally put out an album for whatever, I don't know why, but they'll still put out studio albums even though no one gives a crap. This part is beautiful. This song is kind of a throwaway. Leroy was so good.
What was this on, like, what was the movie that this was on? That
Black
was
Hawk
like...
Down. No, that was
The space in between.
The space between the bullets fly.
Supporting U.S. militarism.
Take me back to the Black Hawk. Yeah, good job, Dave.
Is Dave going to come out with a protest album?
Well, one of the songs in the new album is about, I think it's about the Parkland students, where it's like, come tomorrow, we're gonna take over. The kids are gonna run the future.
I don't think they could do something about, like, teenage students. I mean, they do have, like, a very white crowd, so I don't know how the Trump going directly after him would go.
The Dave Matthews Trump, the intersection there. Lock her up. Yeah, this song's pretty boring. I mean, the problem with this one is it's just Grace Is Gone. All he did was rewrite. He just put different lyrics over Grace Is Gone. So it would have been okay if he didn't put Grace Is Gone on this album.
Well, this is the one that I felt like was just like, let's put out a kind of a little bit more poppy, happy sound that's not about my mental breakdown.
Yeah.
You never know. This is my favorite one. This is the very introspective, philosophical piece.
Yeah, because I heard this again recently. I loved it when it came out, but I don't think it's held up. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm like, And
then later into the song, don't let the troubles in your head steal too much time. You'll soon be dead. So play. It became like my theme song for.
Don't let the demons in your soul.
For my OCD or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, because I love this when it came out because it was right on that curve of, like, everyone was like, he hasn't done a song that sounded like a Dave Matthews Band song in a while. And then I remember when this came out, it was like, yes, it's back. What people really liked is that mixture. He can kind of go to heaven and hell within the same song, where take a song like a Typical Situation, which can start off very sparse and then just blow up and then go back to sparse. Dave Matthews at his best is able to kind of hit multiple, like, these huge range of emotions within the same song. He just had this way of putting multiple songs within a song.
Well, I think this one is like, you can tell like he's like kind of trying to preach to himself, like, about his like psychological state. I swear, I think this was a song that I, like, when I was teaching ESL, like, I made we listened to the song and I had the students like fill in the lyrics.
Didn't you make a class listen to U2's pop album?
We did do a U2, I think, like, a Peace on Earth.
Discotheque. Sorry, we're talking about U2 now.
Like, I kind of wonder what, like, produced this song.
I don't know. See, this still sounds tired to me. It sounds like they took a break with Everyday. They went from Lily White Sessions, and they were all really tired. Then they went to Everyday.
Here's the part right here. There's not a moment to lose in the game.
Dave Matthews' Carpe Diem.
It's like a self-help...
The end of the song's good. This is one of his finest pieces of music here, is the end here. It's really nice. So long.
It's basically like a self-help book right here. Like, this one song. It's got so many different elements to it. I don't know what that part means, but...
Coming back to the Dave Matthews Band after a certain amount of time, I thought, the lyrics are going to be, like, some of the lyrics are cringy, but I thought what would really become grating was the whole Carpe Diem thing, because he's clearly obsessed with it.
See, on the new album?
Soon. Not some... No, he still does it. It's not quite as overt, but yeah, he very much loves the... Gonna die tomorrow, chug a bottle of whiskey, get some pussy.
What's Dave Matthews dreaming about on this song? Did he reach his dreams? That's the question.
Oh, we should have got some of the Dave Matthews Band wine. It's called the Dreaming Tree wine. Is it guaranteed guaranteed you'll trip Billy's? Okay, next is Raven. which I don't know how to feel about that one.
Is this still like the super postmodern song? Postmodernist?
Dream. Uh-oh, back to the beginning. In the wind.
What does that last line mean? The leaf fell from the limb.
It's poetry. Hey, John Mayer.
That's the next album we gotta do.
That's a great album cover.
New Light.
Man, blast from the past.
So we're on to Raven's the one that's like the Sky But Low is just one point of view.
The fan theory that the song was about Bush Senior and Junior. What you got? What you got in your hands?
The father said to son.
See if I can,
it needs to be a little bit more
see
like.
if I can still remember how to play these. Oh, I remember this.
This was like the.
Oh,
this is the porn song.
Oh,
right?
this is Captain, not Raven. Yeah. Wow, muscle memory. It's for no one but me to change. Copyright infringement. How did it get? Oh yeah, because they turned. Wait, why do you remember that? Because that's what people would call it. Like this.
You used to call it the porn song.
Yeah, but it's just this version because it was like a Dave Matthews. I used to be on like this message board, and they all deemed it like the porn version of this because
2Chen.
Because the returnofkings.com stopping the feminazis from taking over the Dave Matthews Band. No,
I mean, why does Dave not have any women in his band? That's the question.
Because they did this stupid, like, funked up version of this. Like, yeah, this is the only one where the Lily White Sessions version is, like, vastly superior. Ooh, that'd be a good one. Every time he says fingertips in the song, every time he mentions a body part, you have to drink. I wish Olacek was here.
Ryan.
I need a WD-40 in this
I don't think if he was like a really true fan, or he was.
Was he ever a true fan of anything except for Nickelback?
Oh, Ryan. I think he would want to show with us, right?
Yeah. So, Captain, they completely botched. I mean, this is still fine, but they completely botched it on this album. I think the best version, because it started off as like a thing him and Tim Reynolds would do, and I think that's the best version. But when you it doesn't work when you try to like spice it up or funk it up. It almost sounds like something that could have been on David Gray's White Ladder. It's that like late night.
Babylon.
Like, I've noticed it's kind of become unfashionable as well for some reason.
Goes to your head, goes to your heart.
I just picture like walking down a street in a city like in the middle of the night, like an empty street. Here's Raven. Listen for the George W. Bush references, I think. Said the sun, go invade Iraq.
So I guess this would have been right around the time of the Iraq invasion, right? When did it come out before?
When did we invade Iraq for the
2003.
Like what? Early in the year?
Yeah, I think it was like. I remember being at Phil Bohr's house watching it on TV. It was like, because when we were still in high school. It was like our senior year of high school. So, was this on the Lily?
Yeah, I remember being in class and we're like watching them pull down the Saddam statue. Like, yay! Let's pretend like this war is going to be easy.
This is the part right here. That little postmodernism. This is a whole separate topic, but this postmodernist idea in the song kind of became edgy. But in some ways, postmodernism is like twisted on its head. Is it turned us into like a post-fact society? I don't know if that's what he's really going for.
At the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything unless it's contrasted against something. It sounds dated now, but if he actually was lyrically specific about something, it might make sense. But he's just kind of saying like, "Oh, don't do what your father did."
If this was supposed to be about Bush, like I feel like it should have been a little bit more explicit. But that was like would that have been too risky a move back in 2003?
Well, most protest songs, or most overtly political songs, don't work or get dated really quickly. So I think it's better just to steer away from it.
Ohio, that's still got a.
I think the only overtly political songs that I think have held up over time are "Eve of Destruction," You ever heard that song? It's from the late 60s.
Yeah, who was the...
Over and over, my friend, we're on the eve of destruction. I think that's the whole point. It's a throwaway thing. These aren't meant to stand the test of time. You have songs that are like about love and like overarching, like all you need is love. That's not a protest song, though. That's universal. Like a protest song needs to be immediately disposable, I think. And it's pretty rare when one actually speaks to like a very specific time, but also holds.
People are going to look back on this time right now, and they're like the U.S. is being taken over by a fascist, and like they're going to say like you didn't mention anything about like rock bands that didn't mention anything about what was going on.
Yeah, where's Bob Dylan? I know. Oh, he's busy doing Buick commercials.
The real question is where's Jacob Dylan? The Wallflowers.
Well, he never pretended to be any voice. If anything, he was a Gen Xer who was just like. I respect that. I don't. Yes, wherever two or more of us gather, Luke shall be there.
Grace is gone. This is like the bottom of. This is just like. Give me a drink. I'm depressed. Did you like break up with anyone? Like this, I don't think so. Like this song's like my grace is gone.
It is a good companion piece to Bartender, though. Yeah. All right. This song, I think that because on this one they added in the slide guitar intro. I think it's a little too on the nose. It's like, yeah, we get it. It kind of sounds like a country song. You don't need to like telegraph it that it's coming. But it's a great song. I think it's one of the best songs they've ever written.
This would be like a weird song to write if you didn't go through a breakup.
So it's one of those like raw emotional things where I think with the Lily White sessions, even if it wasn't quite as finished, I think sometimes you can finish a song too much, which is like what happens here. And I think sometimes just getting the raw emotion of a take, the raw immediacy of that emotion is more important sometimes. And I think with a lot of the songs on this album, it feels like an after the fact thing. I think like the Lily White sessions were kind of a lightning in the bottle. Mm-hmm. It's like taking a picture of a picture almost. Oh, back to protest songs. Yeah, my friend Chris, we've had this conversation where she loves Ani DeFranco, and I recently have tried to listen to some of her albums, and some of it's really good, but she does like overt, here's my point of view. Like she's super liberal, and I agree with like everything she says, but sometimes when it's in a song, I'm like, ugh. There's still that like cringe factor of.
It's too much over the top.
Of like, U2 at their best, they know how to make you want to be part of something instead of saying, here's how it is. Like
they kind of throw it in there, yeah.
Where it's not preaching. You can tell when something's preaching, even if you agree with it. Even if you agree with the preaching, there's still some knee-jerk reaction of, oh great, I'm being told how it is. So that's like U2 where they are now. Like, and that was my problem with Songs of Experience. It felt like he was like, come on, people. As we're Joshua Tree, or let's say October, which is an overtly Christian album, it's something you want to be a part of. It inspires you instead of trying to rally you.
Rally the troops.
And
I don't know what I would do. Like if I was a famous artist right now, like after what's going on in the country, how would I like?
Where's Rage?
Yeah, it would seem kind of weird to just like sing songs about like happy days. I guess it depends what kind of band you are. Like if you never had like any political edge at all in your music, then that's not to be expected. But if you've had a political edge and then Trump comes on the scene, and it's like you gotta like.
Has Rage Against the Machine skipped the last two Republican presidents?
I think they were trying to make a return. They were so angry under Clinton and like.
And then they came back when Obama was president.
But the thing about Rage is they're just like too extreme. They're like, we want a communist takeover, and you're like, let's just maybe we could just have.
Telling you how it is.
I do like The Night Watchman. Have you listened to him? It's Tom Morello.
No.
I used to show it to my junior high students. Like we had like a music class, and we talked about protest music. So I showed them a little Tom Morello, and he gets like arrested in the video.
Yeah, I always liked him. Not Soundgarden, Audio Slave, vastly superior. It was basically Rage Against the Machine, but without like the junior high like the system. Throw it on the ground.
What happened?
Welcome to the real world, jackass.
What was the name? The singer Zach.
De La Roca.
Didn't he like go to like Africa and fight in some revolution?
No.
fought a Marxist revolution.
I severely doubt it. If he did, good for him.
My glasses broke again. Hopefully the optometrist fix this.
Unless she has a tiny little screw. Excuse me, please. 12 more beers. Here's
this is like the happy instrumental.
Kit Kat Jam. Is this the one where he took the lyrics
There's no
off? No, This is when he put...
There's no lyrics in this one in the Busted Stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's lyrics on...
What are the lyrics about on the...
It's nonsense. It's his famous Dave Matthews lyrical gibberish. The only coherent version he's ever done, it was famous, is called the Plastic Asshole version, where the whole song is just about, like... I don't know what he's actually singing about, but the recurring theme is him just singing about a plastic asshole. And it was like... It's like one of the most famous live versions of any song he's ever done. Yeah, this song's really good. This is the only one that translates, like, equally. Yeah, this is the only one that's actually slightly better than the Lily White Session version.
I think this, like, kind of, like, brings the album up a little bit from its dark...
Yeah. So
give me a drink because I'm depressed.
So I guess we go back to talking about, like, what it is that I really loved about the Dave Matthews Band versus what they are now, which I feel like they've become... They're still a really good live act, but I think... I don't mean this to sound as crappy as it does, but like a glorified bar band.
Yeah. I mean, who listens... The thing is, like, who's their main followers still? Like, it's like everyone...
I don't know.
Like, pretty much like the post-40 crowd.
Yeah, because I don't really...
Like, because they're not getting, like, new followers. Like, I doubt they're getting a lot of new followers, unfortunately, so they probably, like...
I still seem to be doing it pretty well. Oh, but yeah, what I loved about them initially was I had never heard anything like this rhythmically complex within, like, pop music form. You're getting like African music in there, kind of American, sort of a little bit of like country bluegrass type of thing, jazz, funk. It was just this beautiful eclectic mix. I feel like when they were at their best, they were actually pretty close to Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, where they had this great eclectic vibe to them. And now they've kind of turned into mostly like funk oriented, like kind of a like crowd pleasing, a bit more funk oriented. And I'm just gonna say it here on record, I don't like Tim Reynolds anymore. I know I would have, like, me from 10 plus years ago would have killed me for saying that now, because everyone was always like, when's he gonna join the band again?
Is he in the new albums? Or like
I don't know if he's on the albums, but he's been touring with them for like 10 years. Every video I see, he's gotten increasingly lazier. Like, he's still really good when he just plays with Dave, when it's just the two of them. And when he contributes on albums, it's really good. But he just plays like block power chords and just obtuse. I don't know. Like, there's nothing subtle about it anymore. And I was like, I wish he was not there. Bring back the piano dude.
Tim Reynolds and Dave Matthews Live at Luther College. That's a good album.
Oh yeah, man.
That's a 2-album one.
That one taking forever. This is easily the most depressing song he's ever written. Yeah, this
goes your own ditch.
This goes full stop. Beautiful song, like really beautiful.
I hope no one like committed suicide to this album.
You take a song like Rhyme and Reason, which is pretty much overtly about mental disease, or even like The Stone.
It's happy though. It's like a happy depression.
Where it's like an exploratory thing where you can feel that it's something that he's exploring. And I'm not saying one's necessarily better than the other, because I think this is a great song. But it's still just overtly sad. There's not really any dimension to it other than like sheer melancholy. He would take you on this journey through his inner confliction. Like, sometimes he would come to the surface and find hope, and sometimes he just like hit rock bottom. But he managed to do it within the confines of one song, which I always thought was really, really cool.
I wish Dave would reveal what his medical history is, so like we could understand.
You can play junior analyst. It's kind of weird, like coming back to something you loved after a certain amount of time. I don't know it's either one of two things. There's something off. I'm not saying he's being weird. There's just something noticeably different on his stage persona. He's either not smoking weed anymore, or he's not drinking anymore, and I can't tell what it is.
They sound like medication.
Yeah, because there's something like like slightly off, where it's like a bit self-depreciating. If that's that the word, but there's just something kind of off, and I'm like, I love you, Dave Matthews. I mean, he seems fine. I'm just saying, there's just something different. I know that's the passage of time, but
he's not mumbling his words as much anymore.
Just not quite as eccentric. I don't know, but
because remember he used to talk like in his concerts, and he'd just like mumble through.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Jiggity jig. That's why Carter is. He's the anchor of. Oh my god, the song's so depressing. That's why I love Carter. I can't even picture him drumming on this song. He's like,
what's the Will Rise though? There's like a little like hopeful.
Yeah, it's just the bubble that floats through the turds.
Will die.
That's why I can't picture Carter drumming on this. He's the happiest person in the world. He's never not smiling. The only time I've ever seen him not smile was the concert they played right after Leroy died. And they were all, obviously, in mourning. I can't believe they did that show, but yeah, Carter, he's like just like the happiest guy that ever lived.
He's still with him, right?
Yeah. Where's my razor blades? Digging your dick. Remember his solo album?
Oh, the
Bark Grave Tinder Grave
digger. When you
dig my grave.
When you make it shallow so I can feel the rain.
I think he was trying to do a Johnny Cash.
Oh, I love this one.
Big-eyed fish.
This is another like semi philosophical song.
See, this is why I love doing this podcast. I don't think this is much more upbeat than the Lily White Sessions. Like some of the songs that kind of gave it a little more bounce to some of them. It's not quite as dreadful and melancholy, but in a way, that's what makes the Lily White Sessions powerful. So the addition of like You Never Know and Where Are You Going are the only kind of things that bring this up really at all.
Songs like very much, just accept your lot in life because it would suck to be.
Yeah. You
wouldn't be happy any other way.
Like in a way, this is almost more depressing than the Lily White Sessions because you'd think they would have put. Because like JTR, just it was on my license plate for a few years. That's how much I loved that song. Like really upbeat, really positive, really hopeful. For some reason, he doesn't like the song, even though it's one of the best things he's ever written, and it clearly would have brought up the mood. But he still wanted to put like Big-Eyed Fish on there, which is I'm just a fish, I'm a monkey, hate my life.
So he's like, my life's not as shitty as everyone as I think it is.
At least I'm not George W. Bush.
I mean, that's true. If a man thought he was a fish and decided not to breathe, it'd be
three-eyed fish.
I get the point he's trying to make. Like the analogies might have been he could have made some better analogies.
Right, I'm gonna play some Dave Matthews Band.
This is like I actually learned to play this song. It's like one of the few Dave songs I learned to play.
I don't remember this one. Play Proudest Monkey. Let's go. Let's do a sing along while another song's playing. Here we go. See how many I can remember. I'll see how many Dave Matthews Band songs I can do before this one.
It is like hard music to like play and sing to. Like you gotta like.
Satellite. You're gonna drop D tuning. Yeah, sorry, this album's boring. He really liked that scale. It was Gray Street. Or was that Tripping Billies? I got nothing to say about the song. Oh, when I pull down my pants, come around, give me a little bit of your southern comfort. I'm doing my thing. Okay, you stupid motherfucker. We've completely given up on this podcast. There's some more.
So this was on the Lily White Sessions too, huh? Big Eyed Fish.
Man.
It's like when the first time I saw U2 and Dashboard Confessional open up for him. I remember my brother was he's like, Dashboard's gonna open up for U2. I'm like, there's no way U2 would have Dashboard Confessional. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I never thought I would hear Chris Carrabba.
Ooh, alright, we're at the finale of the year's Bartender. I didn't think this was a song that you could actually mess up until I saw them do it without Boyd.
This is like the, And if I die...
Yeah, this song is just the absolute depths of despair. Oh, that was another thing. It was kind of like, I'm getting like slightly personal, but like part of the reason why I gave up the visual arts when it just becomes drainingly self-absorbed, and I feel like my love of the Dave Matthews Band became drainingly self-absorbed. Like, this song is kind of beautiful song. I think incredible song, but it just feeds into this sort of this melancholy where I remember like having to force myself out of it. Like, oh my God, the Beatles! They write songs about happy things. Like, I'm going that way for a while. And then it took me 10 years and never came back. Sorry, Dave. But yeah, this song is just like beautifully soul-sucking.
It's got like a hopeful undertone to it, though, right? Like, he wants the wine the wine of Jesus, not the wine of Judas.
It's an incredible cry for help.
I'm on bended knee, I pray. Yeah.
I'm going to say I apologize to Dave Matthews, even though he's never going to listen to this and doesn't care. In spirit, I'm putting the energy out there of, I forsook you, Dave Matthews. I turned my back on you because the band became embarrassing. But it's completely not fair because they hit levels of depth that most jam bands do not. Yes, he can do these superficial dumb lyrics, train of thought crap, Carpe Diem nonsense, but he's also written some of the most beautiful, Dreaming Tree, The Stone, Cry Freedom, Bartender. Did I already say The Stone? Crush. I know most of these are from before these crowded streets, but he is Last Stop. He has emotional depth there. They're not just a dumb, obtuse, drunken frat party band.
Yeah, I feel like this, and I will be honest, like, I think this album like helped me out in some like dark times of my life. It's dark, but at the same time it like tries to give you a way out. It's not like just kill yourself. It's like,
because I think I have a darker personality. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be you, but so that's why I think I gravitated towards Lily White Sessions more, because there was no way out on that album. There's no bright spot on it. It's very dark. This is like brown, like in musical colors. Yeah, that was just black and white with a little bit of gray. This is like brown.
I mean, maybe he was coming out of his depression in this album.
I think you need to go back and listen to Under the Table and Dreaming, and that album's really dark.
What year was that?
I mean, it does have like 93. I mean, yeah, okay, it's got like Best of What's Around and Ants Marching, but there's still some really dark songs on there. Honestly, my main complaint with this is like comparative issues. I still think Lily White Sessions is better, and there's some production issues on this. Like, the guitar sounds like crap. Sometimes Boyd's violin sounds like crap. I think these are personal issues.
How would you compare it to Every Day?
Oh, it's clearly better. There's still some songs I really, really like from Every Day. Give your rating. What would you rate this album? You could just make up some arbitrary rating.
I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'll go with 2.5 Carpe Diems out of 4, and I'll give it, and I'll throw in an extra tippy 2.
Dave,
gonna get some of that love muffin. Gonna get some of our cornbread.
I think it definitely beats Cracked Rearview Mirror.
No. Let's just sing Running from an Angel. Okay, so Everyday had I Did It, Garbage. The photo shoot was really nice for this. I think the photo shoot was supposed to be for the Lillywhite sessions because it clearly does not match the tone of the album. Like, we're in the dark in the woods. I Did It, crap. When the World Ends, good. It's actually held up quite well. Space Between, Oh, Dreams of Our Fathers.
That's a good song.
It's cheesy, but I like it. So Right, probably the best song on the album. If I Had It All, fine. What You Are, yeah. Angel, Fool to Think, Fool to Think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep to Dream Her, Mother Father is the worst song he's ever written. And Everyday, so it's not that bad. It's just the overall effect isn't great.
Yeah, every day it seems like every day, and I Did It seemed like way too happy. Well, Dave, we miss you.
Yeah,
you're still around. We just haven't listened to you.
If you ever listen to this, I sent you a letter, or I sent your management a letter asking for an autograph. You never sent me one. Send me an autograph, bitch. I forsook you, Dave Matthews. I turned my back on you because the band became embarrassing.
I hope no one committed suicide to this album.
Send me an autograph, bitch.